Happy Thursday, studio owners, and welcome to another episode of Q&A Thursday. Today's question comes from Cole, who was curious to know about email service providers and which one is the best one and which one that I would recommend. Well, as you know, there are so many different email service providers, and they all have their strengths and I would say maybe weaknesses. Can you hear my goose? Our goose is sitting on our roof and I think she's stuck up there. She's never landed on the roof before and I think she's panicking a little bit and we're waiting for her to come down. So if you hear some honking, it is from our goose, whose name is Lemony. And of course right now the neighbors have decided to ride their SUVs and their motorcycles right up the road. So there's a bit more noise tonight than I normally have in my videos, but you get a taste of what it's like to live with a menagerie of creatures out in the country. At any rate, back to Cole's question. When you're looking for an email service provider, you want to make sure that you're able to send a couple of different kinds of emails. One is a broadcast email, and that means you're sending something to an entire list or portion of your list. So maybe you have your Tiny Tots and you want to only email to the Tiny Tots. You want to be able to segment those students into a different list so you can email them separately and all at once. Definitely saves a ton of time. And to be able to do that, you'll be able to just export a list out of your studio management software, whether that's Jackrabbit or Studio Director, Dance Studio Pro. There's lots of ways lots of different software you can use to gather that information. And the other kind is called an autoresponder. You want to be able to connect with the people who inquire about classes or people who are onboarding at the beginning of the season to make sure everybody has all the same information. And you want to drip this stuff out to them over time. And there's even an email system now called Drip, which is provided by Leadpages, which is a software that is used to design landing pages or pages where people can come to opt in and give you their name and address in exchange for something of value, whether that's a coupon for a free class, a free tutu with enrollment. There's lots of different freebies that you could be giving somebody for them to add or come on to your list. So these autoresponder emails are really important to set up because otherwise it's all done manually. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to keep track of tons of new students coming in and remembering the day they registered and putting on my calendar 3 or 5 days into the future, maybe a week, and having to do that every single time somebody comes on to your list or registers for a new class. Definitely something you don't have time to do, so you need some software to help you do that. So I have a couple of suggestions for you. And then I'm going to share with you what I personally use and why I'm using that software. Alright, so one of the favorite tools out there these days is MailChimp. And MailChimp comes with a free version, which is okay, but really you kind of get what you pay for. The other thing about MailChimp is that if you want to do some of the automation tools like autoresponders, you have to use one of their paid plans. The other thing that I didn't like about MailChimp, and this goes for other service providers like Aweber, is that when somebody adds onto your list, say they registered to get a free tutu with registration, and later on they maybe add to your list for a free camp. They're now on 2 separate lists and they're counted as 2 separate subscribers. So when you're paying for each subscriber, usually it's one to $250 or $500 or 1 to 1,000, you pay one set rate. And when you go up into another number, the payment plan each month will increase accordingly. So, and for me, I didn't find MailChimp to be very intuitive, but I know that there are tons and tons of people who absolutely love it. The last email service provider I used, which I really liked a lot, is ConvertKit. And the beautiful thing about ConvertKit is that it's only $29 a month, and I think that allows up to 1,000 subscribers, I want to say. You may want to double check that after watching this video to make sure. But when somebody adds to one list, you're able to count them only once. So if they're on 5 separate lists, they're not counted as 5 subscribers, which keeps your subscriber number down so you're not bumped up into that new category. The other cool thing about ConvertKit is that it has some cool automation features. Meaning if you have a blog or someplace on your website you want to offer something, you don't need a full landing page all the time. You can actually add a little bit of code to your website, if you know how to do that, where you can just add a little call to action button. And that's really handy as well, and you can set that all up on the inside of ConvertKit. I would definitely recommend, if you have the budget of $29 a month to start, that ConvertKit is a place that you want to consider going. And there are so many tutorials now and friends of mine in this tech space who are ninjas at ConvertKit. So if you're interested in going that route, let me know, and I'm happy to connect you with my friends who are whizzes at that platform. Now the big question is, what do I use? I'm currently using ClickFunnels, and it's definitely on the more high side of the scale as far as monthly payments. But the ability to do everything that I want is there right now. So I used to have lead pages to do all of my landing pages and opt-ins. Well, ConvertKit can do that out of the box. What I love about it is that when you're creating those landing pages, rather than having to set up the landing page and the thank you page separately and connecting them, it's built into something already called a funnel. And there are templates in there which you can use right out of the box that are just ready to go. They're all connected. You just plug and play what you need to put in there and your information and your links and all those things. The other cool thing you can do in ClickFunnels is that when somebody opts in, you can offer them an upsell. What's an upsell? An upsell is something, a lower dollar value, for instance, $7, $17, $27, something lower in value that has a higher, something lower in dollar value, but really has a high perceived value, meaning it's training somebody to do something, it's taking them to a next step, getting them closer to doing a regular class with you or a higher level program. Perhaps that's a performance program, but it gives them a little taste, so you could do a paid trial class. And I know that Lead Pages just released an option where you can now have the ability to run payments, but I don't know if you're able to add an upsell, or if you can do that. I don't think it's all that easy. So with one click, you can actually add just a new step into the funnel and you just, everything is connected seamlessly. It just works, which I love when technology works and it's effective and it kind of functions the way that I want it to function. The other thing that ClickFunnels does is that it allows me to send emails. So now I don't have to connect my landing page software to my email service provider or to my website. Everything is all in one. Another really great feature that I love about ClickFunnels is that I can create entire membership sites. What does that mean? That means that all of my students, if I want them to go through a certain video series to onboard them, or there's some education that I want to offer in a series to them, I can actually put that behind a membership site. So in comparison, it would be something similar to a Studio Director or a Jackrabbit, where there's a portal where your clients can log in and they can get information inside a secure platform. And that is what ClickFunnels can do as well. So for instance, my Studio Blogstars Masterclass that we just wrapped recently, all of the videos, all of the downloads, everything is stored inside of the ClickFunnels membership site. Each of the students in that program had their own access, their own username and their own password to access that information, so that I can keep all that information in a secure spot and not have to spread it across the entire internet or put it, into Facebook to store there and have to search for things there, because if you haven't searched Facebook groups in particular recently, it's become a little more tricky than it used to be. So that's why I personally love ClickFunnels. Even though it comes at a higher price point, I think I got rid of 4 pieces of software to be able to use one. And when I added those all up, including the extra I was having to pay for the privilege of using credit cards or processing credit cards through my Studio software, it actually ends up being cheaper per month for one piece of software, which I absolutely love. Now for me, I've chosen the highest plan, which it runs $297 a month, which you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, why would I pay $297 a month when I can pay $29 for ConvertKit or get a free MailChimp account? Well, like I said previously, I chose to go back to ClickFunnels after trying to make it all work by piecemealing different pieces of software together, and I just got so fed up with having to get them to connect, and sometimes they didn't talk to each other very well, and it was really frustrating, especially for me, when I usually love my technology and really like to play with it and figure things out. But with these pieces of software in particular, they just did not play well together, and I just got tired of having to fix and make patches and do workarounds for all of that. So for me, the higher price point makes sense because I got rid of 4 pieces of software that I was using, got rid of the payment processor they were charging me a monthly fee to be able to connect the credit cards to my Studio Director software. So really, at the end of the day, I can have everything in one place. I can see all of my email subscribers. I can see all of their actions. It actually gives everybody a score based on their interaction with your emails. And it also, if they're using the same email address as they use to sign up for Facebook, then you'll be able to see some of their social platforms as well, so you can see where they're hanging out online. So it is super, super cool. If you want to try out ClickFunnels for free for 14 days, you are welcome to do that. And you can get that free trial at my website, yongpratt.com/CF. That's C as in click and F as in funnels. Okay, my friends, I'm gonna hop off and finish getting ready for our camping trip this weekend. That's the reason I hopped on so late today. I have been working all day trying to get caught up and get ahead because we're actually going to be gone, I think, until next Tuesday. So I wanted to make sure I got a jump start on next week, as well as being able to get everything packed up in the trailer and get the kiddos packed and all the food and all the fun stuff ready for the weekend. All right, if you have any more questions, feel free to leave your comments below. I'm happy to answer those for you on future episodes of Q&A Thursday. Okay, I'm Yong Pratt of the Tech Savvy Studio Owner, and I will catch you next week. Cheers.